Well, joined by Robert Kelly, the CEO of the Steadfast Group. Now, Robert, everyone's just seen that video of you spending time at Matthew Talbot House. A fairly special experience for you.
It was a fantastic experience. I mean, I was unaware of what I was going to find. I was not inhibited about going there, but I thought, oh gee, I hope I don't stand out. And then they were all so welcoming, and I mean the people running the place were just so engaged. And then when I went down to have dinner, I sat with four other guys, and they were a mixture of people that were quite astoundingly different. And even one guy listened intently because they asked me questions, and I got involved with them. As you didn't see on the video, you wouldn't have seen the verbiage that was going on, but It was quite interesting. And the quiet guy stayed, finished his food, and then said, look, I've finished now, I'm going, but thank you very much, it's been very interesting, and thank you for coming here. And I thought how wonderful that was for him to do that. He didn't have to participate, and he was obviously a little bit shy, but he didn't want to. He had the respect for the table to say, I'm going, and that.
Well, I like you referring to them thanking you, but you said you felt like quite an honour to be there yourself.
Absolutely.
And you have a pretty significant family connection to Matthew Talbot House as well?
Yeah, well, I as a very young boy, I used to come and pick up and drop off my grandfather, who it's funny, my and my uncle, his son, both went to the Second World War together. Mm-hmm. My uncle put his age up, and my grandfather put his age down. One ended up in Darwin and then New Guinea, and the other one ended up in the Middle East, in Egypt. And so when they came back to Australia, they were misfits. There was no doubt about that, you know. And I know historically, as a small boy, them both being in a difficult position. And anyway, they both went down to the Snowy Mountains to do the Snowy Mountains working in the Snowy Mountains Authority, and it was just only one thing to do at night down there was drink. So they came back. They were reasonably good drinkers, I believe, beforehand, but they were of Irish extraction, so you understand that, and I can say that because I am of Irish extraction, so I don't want somebody saying I've said the bad thing about the Irish, because most of what I know about the Irish is true, based on my own experience, okay? So they came back as alcoholics, and my uncle became a working alcoholic, and he worked all his life, and then my grandfather, who was a great, strong, strapping man, interested in sport, deteriorated over a few years from being an alcoholic into being what was called a dero. Okay, they were called deros, which was a shortening of derelict. And so, as a small child, I witnessed him having to come home and be deloused. My mother, in fact, used to wash him down with kerosene, because he was full of lice and things like that. So over a period of a couple of years, he would come in and out of the Matthew Talbot. So I remember clearly, my mind is vivid about those men that were down and out, and it was like a beacon for them to come and to do something and to be involved in that. So unfortunately, he died on the street. Okay, and and reflecting with my mother years later, she said, we knew he would die on the street because he couldn't settle back into society. So I think there was a lot of people like that as a result of the Second World War, and indeed you're seeing now a lot of the poor guys who are in Vietnam probably suffering similarly to that. And there's not much, people don't have a lot of inner thoughts about, gee, we should help these people. So I think something like this is an incredible organisation to actually take them in. And I watched it, to get them clean, giving them clean clothes, feeding them, giving them respect. There was that's what I felt, that nobody in that place ever felt to me like they were a dero, to quote the vernacular that I grew up with. They felt like they were keen to be involved, that the people respected them there, okay? And they all sat down at these tables. The food was prepared beautifully. I was extremely, unbelievably clean, fresh, lovely, as good a food as you'd go if you wanted to go into a cafe to get it. So it was just wonderful.
Robert, that is a significant story of where you've come from and how now a CEO of a significant business in a big industry on your journey, but also a deep passion to make a difference. You've Third year sleeping out, this year you've raised just short of $100,000. So what does it mean to you now to make a difference to people experiencing homelessness?
I think the. I think I took too long to get into it. Okay, I think Scotty Lenny that runs Marsh. When he first got into it, I sent him money because I thought that was an easy thing for me to do. I know that sounds awful. And then a couple of years when I wanted to come, I had to travel. And then I thought, hang on, you're making excuses. You just got to do this. So I was pleased to come and do it. And I think tonight's really exciting because Scott and I have used our connections in the insurance industry, and I think we've got 15 sleeping out here. And I think we've raised. We won't raise much shorter than $250,000 out of those 15, which I think is pretty fantastic.
Incredible amount of money, and also to sleep out in a year where, because of a worldwide pandemic, the event was in danger, but CEOs sleeping out all around the country in their homes. You're sleeping out on top of a building in the heart of Sydney with 15 industry leaders, all appropriately socially distanced, but outdoors on top of the building amongst the elements.
Well, I'd have to say that most of them are worried about whether they're sitting in 1A or 1B. So to get them to actually be here and rough it and is a fantastic. It shows the interest that they've got. There's no kudos in this for them. This is just how can we help? Yep, we don't mind being put out to it and going forward like that. So I think I've got to take my hat off for a whole lot of guys who don't need to do this but have decided to do it to raise some money. And I guess that shows, we're competitors. The insurance guys that are here, they're competitors, and that's all gone. Everybody's here with one cause, and that's to try and help the homeless. And I think that's fantastic.
You're making a significant difference, Robert. Thank you for your support and thank you for sharing your story, and we'll see you again shortly.
Good luck tonight. Cheers. Thank you very much.